Welcome to the XS Noize Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Millar, and in this episode, I'm joined by Gavin Rossdale, the iconic frontman of Bush. If you missed our last episode, I spoke with Amy MacDonald about her powerful new album, so be sure to check it out, and don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Bush burst onto the scene in the 90s with 16 Stone, and became one of the defining bands of the post-grunge era, selling over 20 million records worldwide. Now, Gavin is back with Bush's 10th album, I Beat Loneliness, a raw, urgent and deeply personal record that pushes their sound forward while keeping that signature intensity. In this chat, Gavin opens up about the creative fire behind the album, the themes of isolation and resilience, and what it means to keep evolving after nearly 3 decades. We also talk about Bush's upcoming world tour, turning pain into beauty, and the moments that have shaped his journey. So let's get into it. This is Gavin Rossdale on the XS Noize Podcast. Hi Gavin, thanks very much for joining me.
Thanks for talking to me. How are you?
Very good. Bush has had an incredible journey since the early 90s. When you look back now, did you ever picture yourself still making records and playing to huge crowds decades later?
No, I didn't know what was happening the following week. You know, when I first began Bush, it was at a time when Britpop was really dominating in England. It was the worst commercial decision you could make. I don't know what forced me, probably like my love of John Lydon, Public Image, the Gang of Four, Fugazi, the Pixies. I just wanted to do stuff, and Jane's Addiction and the stage presence that I wanted and that I turned into needed heavy guitars, you know. I needed that drama of guitars. I just like that. I don't know why. I love them so much. Still love them so much. They're like this most sacred instrument to me. And so it makes me perform a certain way. So yeah, I had no idea, mate. I was just happy I could make it. When I first got that record deal, I just couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe I actually got to make a record. And then the rest just kind of has snowballed into many, many years later, and still loving it. You know, I have a passion for music. I still don't understand it all. It annoys me. It's like a really tricky girlfriend, you know? It's just tricky, my tricky wife.
Your new album, I Beat Loneliness, it feels like some of your most urgent and fearless music Bush has made in years, really. What lit that fire for you this time around? And was there a moment or feeling that really pushed you forward?
Well, thanks for saying that. I'm just trying to get better. And, you know, I want it to be urgent. You say, what did you say? Urgent. And what did you say? The other word, it was great.
Fearless.
Urgent and fearless. I mean, that to me is the biggest compliment ever, because it's like, that's all like that kind of that's a manifesto to put up on the wall. You look at it. And for me, if I don't make it vital, there's no point. I mean, there's literally no point. It's a waste of space. So I confronted myself. I was like, what do you want to say? Like, who are you? Like, what are you? And I really considered the history of the band. I considered the role we'd had in people's lives that came to see the band. And the consistent thing was the lyrics, people's connections to lyrics, the way that people own the songs for themselves, and the way they provided such a soundtrack for people over the years, many different records, many different people over many decades. And it's such a compliment to me as a songwriter that's what made me think of, like, I'm here to save your life, you know. I just thought that's the most beautiful thing, that if somebody's in a crisis relationship, crisis situation with someone they love, they can share that song with them. That can be their moment. Nothing to do with me, separate from me. For me, I just think that life is really challenging for everyone. I know that everybody has gone through some shit to get here. And every day, I know that someone is trying to fuck you this week. I know that someone has up to you this week. You were having a certain time and someone has done something that you're like, fuck, you got to deal with it. You will deal with it, but it's not what you want to deal with. And that just happens all the time, no matter who you are. And I think it's important to write records or, for me, it gives my life meaning that I'm just a humble lyricist who wrote music that some people connect to, and that's it. And I want to just really connect with those people. And of course, I'll have to grow it. I'm crazy for people to love the record. I'm still needy. To be in a band is to be a needy person, because you just stand up there. It's such a ridiculous concept. We stand there and I tell you my thoughts. I tell you my insecurities, my vulnerabilities, and I try and put it to a good melody so that you want to sing it with me. And then we all feel it together and we have this shared experience. And I think it's the most beautiful thing when people are elevated by music. You know, we all feel it, having a terrible day, and then you put on that right track, and that right track says, fuck them. Yeah, let's go over here. And you go, yeah, fuck them. And you just, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what it is. I like that. That is the power of music.
Yeah, because the album, as you mentioned, it explores universal struggles, isolation, mental health, and the quiet battles we fight alone. Did these themes naturally reveal themselves as the songs took shape, or did you set out knowing you wanted to go there from the start?
I just sat out wanting to be down to the bone on myself, as I thought the best thing that I can offer is who I've become. That's the best thing I can do. If that best is not good enough, that's a separate subject. But the best thing I can offer is the best of myself. So I thought, what is it that's bothering you? What do you think about the most? What is on your brain today? Not aspirational stuff. I think that the world is cruel in its speed and its expectations of people. I think the lack of people realizing it's a long struggle, and that's normal. People think that the struggle is just them, and it's really easy to not see other people's lives as much easier than your own. And it's just an illusion, because everybody's struggling. Mental health has been a really, as I reflected over the years with the band and the power of the words, mental health is a really important thing. I mean, these stats we're all reading, the moment 500,000 people who kill themselves around the world in the first 6 months this year, 80% of men. It's just people are being pushed to their limits, and there's not enough discussion about it. There's not enough sense of understanding this. If you make 10 people feel a little bit less alone, just a little bit less alone, it's done a great service. I think that the Alain de Botton, the English clinical psychologist, whatever, just talks about how everybody's mad, and it's just a miracle for anyone to navigate the bullshit they've had to deal with. It just is. And we're so good at just like fighting on and not taking ourselves seriously, but it's nice to be told you're not alone.
The album opens with scars, which feels like almost a personal declaration. What sparked that song, and did it end up setting the tone for everything that followed on the album?
Yeah, I think so. Weirdly, the first song was I Beat Loneliness. So I had the music for that, and I was a bit dissatisfied with the music because I'd done my weird modulation thing, my weird bastard music guy, untrained, feral. I was like, oh, I'd done the thing again where I'd do this modulation. And I was like down on myself about it. And then as I have my studio in my house, and there's no one ever around when I'm writing, and I like to just start at midday and have no horizon of the day, no meetings, no dinners, nothing. Just let it be. And I let the music. Sometimes I have it on loop, and I'll go and like make a tea, and it'd be on loop, and I'll just be singing things. And when that phrase came to me, it unlocked. It unlocked for me what I can offer. Like, it clarified what I can offer. And I thought people need to feel that it's a struggle for everyone. I mean, I did that in my TV show, The Dinner with Gavin Rossdale, and through these 6 amazing people, display that everyone has a different journey, but it's always a journey. And it's so difficult now for people to see that everything is a journey. People just see the destination or the consequence of something, of a lot of work. Like an album is so many details all in one space. It's so many details, To me, that's what it is like cooking. That's why I'm so connected to cooking. Same to music. It's just a series of a collection of details, of steps, of processes that go to make the sum of the parts greater.
Yeah, the title "I Beat Loneliness" is powerful, even just as a phrase. What does that line mean to you on a personal level? And was there a moment when you felt you truly managed to beat loneliness, even just briefly?
I got to tell you, when I get up, it's not even getting a line right, when I'm lucky enough to be thinking and that line comes out, it's a funny, what is the creative act? What is the moment? I, you know, I just, I didn't sit there going, I beat, what did I beat? It's like that phrases pop out and it just gave me direction, because it's in my mind. And I thought it's a lovely paradox, clearly impossible, but it shows hope and strength and valor and dignity. And when the record opens with scars, angels written on your body, that is everybody. I mean, obviously, you think I wrote it, so you think it's for me. It does come from me, like I said, of course, but it's no different. It could be anyone. It could be anyone in my family, not my kids, but like in my older family. I've just been away with them. We're all nuts. Everybody's like got their own foibles and prisms, and I think life is so great that when you admit to the struggles, you allow yourself to be free and live the elevated moments much more enjoyably than living in the shame. There's so much shame attached to confusion, and discontent in your heart and loneliness. I mean, you can be with someone in a relationship, we all know this, and feel the loneliest you've ever felt in your life.
Yeah.
That's that's the slings and arrows of life, that's just how it goes. And the trick is, I find, and clearly followed it, it's just never let go of the rope, It's just never let go of the rope. And you just go through times, I think of it like a carousel, where sometimes you go in the dark and sometimes you come around into the light, and it's all really good. For me, it's always been important to just, what can you control? That you focus on that. So what I can personally control is I can really be a better editor with my words. I can really be more concise and more urgent. That's when you said fearless at the beginning. I love that. And it to be exciting, like that's what it is. I don't just do a mundane track and write on it, oh, I'll fix it by my edgy lyric or something like that. Everything has to justify itself to be there because the catalog is so strong. You can't fuck with it. If you want to join the pack, you have to run with those songs. And so, but yeah, at the same time, I've got better at music. So I don't go beyond a track unless it's fearless, that I Be Alone is down that line, that riff. It's like, that was where I was learned this kind of thing. I was like, oh, that sounds nice when I do that. So I just did that. I was like, this fucking sounds massive. It just was, or every song is a different experimentation for me. Every song is a different journey. That what usually cracks the code is maybe I've jammed, an hour of bullshit I don't care about, nothing stuck. And then I find a collection of notes that fit with the tone, the notes of the drums. So that makes it slightly by chance. Yeah, I don't tune the drums. All the drums do have notes, right? And you can, if I was smarter, I would just start with the notes and I'd do it to the key I'm in. But when you just play the drums and you do it, you get this. And I use great different rock samples and big library banks and stuff like that. If you like the sound of it, you've agreed to a key for the drums to be in. You've agreed, like sonically. So when you play with it, only some things that you play will fit with that. Not everything you play will fit with it because they'll be out of tune. So I love that element of risk and chance. And then inadvertently, when you find the riff, you lock in, and everything else that went before it is like nonsense. It's like you're just like foraging, and then when you find it, it's cool. Hunter gatherer, that's my job.
One of my standout tracks on the album is "The Land of Milk and Honey." It's so vivid and poetic. What sparked the social commentary in that track? Was it liberating to get it out?
It's all liberating to get it out because everything is cathartic. The whole process, don't kill me slowly, do it fast. In We Are of This Earth, like we are of this earth, like that just sums up everything. It's the kind of humility that I just want to teach my boys. There's a sentiment to it that I want my boys to think like that. They do. They're really kind, good people. They're smart. They care about other people. They're very empathetic. And just those things are so powerful. So with The Land of Milk and Honey, I really knew that I feel a darkness I can't resist, on these gasoline sales. It's like a manifesto. Again, my life, but yet it mirrors regular people. The whole thing is that the record is, even though it's in a really luxurious, very cinematic, wide rock environment, it's meant to be this very universal thing. So scars is everyone has these scars, and at the end, the rebel with a cause. And that there's a lone voice that's thing that ad libs. It's meant for everyone. It's like it's a celebration of people, of the miracle that everybody does to just put one foot in front of the other and fucking take the next day on after bullshit you had last night where you thought your head was going to explode, and it didn't explode. And you can deal with that situation, and maybe you learn something from it. And I'm not spiritual. Really, I don't believe in much. I'm an atheist. There's always been an atheist. I grew up in churches. I grew up singing Latin hymns. I think that my songs, I think, maybe have cadences from the hymns I heard in my life. Jerusalem is one of the great songs of all time for me. It's this incredible. And I respect churches. I love being in churches, but I always looked around. Couldn't really believe that people really, truly, just found it confusing. That I was like, come on, we're being respectful, but we're not in the beard and I said, come on, but people really. So, but I do believe in the way that the universe works. I was destined to struggle for so long. That was my path. My TV show took 7 years to make. I'm still struggling to make season 2. It's the most glamorous thing anyone could imagine, but it's not glamorous trying to fucking make it. It's not glamorous trying to sell the fucking show. Do you know what I mean? You go around trying to sell it and nobody wants it in England. It's just like, it's madness. The fight never ends. But if you embrace that struggle and you accept it, and you just have to be really good at fighting. And I'm a really good fighter. I'm a really good fighter. You it's the Scottish in me. You have to fucking kill me. You have to kill me. If you don't kill me, I'm going to get up. I'm going to kill you.
You're about to head out on a huge tour. How do you keep yourself grounded and energized night after night, both mentally and physically?
Physically by shutting up, zipping it, because I sing at the meet and greets as an acoustic offering, because I think those meet and greets are a bit weird and slightly exploitative, because I'd sign out the back for free, but it's part of the life now, and people enjoy it. But so I thought that singing a couple of songs showed a middle ground of like an effort, not just sort of like shaking hands and taking a picture and making it very inorganic. But as usual, it's fucking bitten off more than I can chew. And so I have to be quiet in between. I just have to zip it. I'm singing twice a day. So grounded is feeling guilty for missing my kids. It's like I'm not obsessed, but I'm just a really good dad. So it's just like, it's hard for me to be away from them. They're fine. They're of an age now where they're fine. But nonetheless, I think that my input into them is essential. I think they need, both parents. So if I'm away for like a month, I'm away now 5 weeks, I want to see them for 5 weeks. And then I'm in Europe, I want to see them that's the longest ever in my whole life with them. I don't see them. And I'm terrified of that. But I'm building this for them, and they're at an age now where they're fine. They have busy lives and phones and FaceTime. So when they were younger, it was even worse. But so I stay grounded by feeling guilty and a bit shitty on the inside.
Just to wrap up, Gavin, If you had to pick 5 Bush songs to introduce someone to your songwriting, the ultimate starter pack, which would you choose?
Oh my gosh. That is a bonanza question. Well, I would really like to start with Scars, because I think that really is Scars would open it out. I would, you see, I'm going to go like, More the Machines, uh, Glycerine, um, We Are of This Earth, and well, it would have to be like Everything Zen, because that's the don't you gotta leave with the one that brought you.
Good
You know,
choices.
yeah, of course I'm way obsessed with the newer stuff because I feel I'm evolving all the time. But I promise that when I sing all those other songs, I live so much in the moment that they're just such a pleasure to sing. I don't have that thing of, I got one song I was there's a couple of songs where I was losing confidence on singing, so I was changed them up a little bit. But I used, but I'm really proud to sing any of those songs, and it feels like the show is like very, very wall to wall quality. Like I remember back in the day when I was a kid or I was first starting out, you could play a set and the other bands I was in would be like, oh, fuck, not these 2 songs. You'd be like, oh, no. Just knew they were like turkeys you're playing. But then you get to the good ones like that. So now I feel really confident. I've been around so long that the one thing, good news is the best news about being around this long is the set can be really solid.
If you could relive one musical moment from your career so far, just to feel that rush again, what would it be?
Woodstock, 250,000 people, 350,000 people, whatever it was. That moment, Glastonbury, Reading. I mean, I don't really understand it because we played those festivals. I thought we did great, and then we never got invited back. But hopefully, because I was hoping that we'll come back to them. I don't quite understand, but I understand it's just showbiz, and you got to fight, and you got to be great, and you get to be asked. We have a really good European agent now. We had a bit of a dodgy one for a couple of years. We used our American agents in England and Europe, and they were pants, and we never got anything. But you also can't blame them, because if you ask, people say, well, this is how it went. Maybe they asked and they said no. So you can never scratch the surface. You'd be a fool to scratch the surface too much when you don't do tours. But I think that we are going to be 100%. The reason to do this big tour in the fall is to come back and play a load of festivals next year. Although sadly, I just found out that Glastonbury is not on. And that's 25 years since we played Glastonbury, so it would have been perfect. But Glastonbury aside, maybe that's for the following year. But my hope is that we play a bunch of the festivals. I want to play all the festivals.
Good. Well, hopefully you do. Well, Gavin, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Absolutely love the album. All the best with it and enjoy the tour.
Thanks, mate. Where are you based?
Just outside Belfast.
I flew to Belfast to see Shellac. I took an ex-wife to see Shellac in
Steve
Belfast.
Albini.
Yeah. We arrived before the band. I remember that. We stayed at the Europa Hotel and walking through the sort of safety security checkpoint. Yeah, a lot of fun. But there you go. Poor old Steve. God bless Steve. There you go. I'm not. God bless. I'm not even. R.I.P. R.I.P. Yeah.
Okay, Gavin. Well, enjoy the
All right,
rest of
mate.
your day.
All right. Thanks so much. Take
Thank
care.
you very much. Take it
Cheers,
easy.
mate. Thanks,
Bye.
mate.